Farrah Fawcett was once the face America pinned to bedroom walls. Blonde hair. A perfect smile. But when the studio lights went out, what remained at her hospital bedside was not fame. It was addiction. Violence. Control. Betrayal. This is not a Hollywood fairy tale. This is the truth. Farrah Fawcett was born on February 2, 1947, in Corpus Christi, Texas. It was a quiet coastal town. Nothing about it suggested fame. Her parents were working-class farmers. They lived simply. Discipline and routine shaped daily life. There were no industry connections. No shortcuts. Just structure, expectation, and hard work. From an early age, Farrah stood out. In high school, she was voted the most beautiful student 4 years in a row. The result never changed. But people around her did not talk only about her looks. Teachers and classmates described her as polite, calm, and generous with her time. She helped others. She did not act superior. She did not chase attention. Attention followed her. After graduation, she enrolled at the University of Texas. Many assumed she would study acting or theater. She did not. She chose sculpture. The decision surprised people. She explained it simply. She liked form. She liked structure. She liked working with her hands. This choice mattered later. It showed she did not define herself by appearance alone. The turning point came quietly. A photographer took portraits of her for a student art exhibition. The photos were natural. No heavy styling. No forced poses. Light, expression, and stillness did the work. Those images began circulating beyond the campus. Eventually, they reached modeling agencies in Los Angeles. Among those who noticed was David Mirisch. He did not meet her at first. He only saw the photo. He stopped. He studied it. He believed she had screen presence without effort. Mirisch contacted her repeatedly. Letters. Phone calls. Invitations. He urged her to leave Texas and come to Los Angeles. Farrah hesitated. Texas felt safe. Hollywood felt aggressive. She understood the risks. She had seen what fame did to young women. She worried about being consumed. About losing control. About becoming something she did not recognize. Her parents made the decision easier. They did not promise success. They offered security. They told her that if she failed, she could always come home. Texas would still be there. That assurance mattered more than encouragement. In May 1968, Farrah packed one suitcase and left. She did not leave as a star. She left as a young woman taking a calculated risk. At that moment, she was not a symbol. She was not a product. She was not an image owned by the public. She was simply Farrah. In 1968, Farrah Fawcett arrived in Los Angeles with one suitcase and no protection. She moved into the Hollywood Studio Club, a quiet building that had once housed young actresses trying to survive the city, names like Marilyn Monroe among them. The walls held history, not guarantees. Her days followed a strict routine. Casting calls from morning to evening. Long waits. Short conversations. Polite rejections. At night, she called her mother in Texas. She did not complain. She said the city was full of beautiful women. She said she believed she could still make it. Confidence came without noise. Farrah learned everything on her own. She practiced makeup and shared bathrooms. She learned how to do her hair without help. She studied how to stand, how to turn her head, how to look into a camera without looking rehearsed. These were not talents taught in class. They were survival skills. Slowly, work came. Commercials first. Shampoo. Perfume. Swimwear. Small jobs, but steady. Her face became familiar before her name did. Casting directors remembered the smile. Photographers remembered the ease. She did not dominate rooms. She blended in and stayed memorable. During this period, she met Lee Majors at a cafe on Sunset Boulevard. At the time, he was already famous. His show, The $6 Million Man, made him one of television's biggest stars. The imbalance was obvious. He had power. She was still asking permission. Their relationship moved quickly. Majors became both partner and guide. He encouraged her to aim higher. Modeling was not enough, he said. With her look and presence, film was the next step. Farrah listened. Her first major film role came with Myra Breckinridge. Instead of opening doors, it exposed how Hollywood worked. On set, she was caught between two forces, Mae West and Raquel Welch. One demanded she darken her hair. The other demanded she stay blonde. The decision was not about character. It was about hierarchy. The film failed. Critics mocked it. Her performance became collateral damage in a project already collapsing. Farrah did not respond publicly. She did not defend herself. She learned. In Los Angeles, talent opened doors. Power decided who stayed inside. In 1976, Farrah Fawcett agreed to a simple swimsuit photo shoot with photographer Bruce McBroom. There was no large crew. No stylist. No makeup artist adjusting every detail. Farrah arrived alone. She brought a comb, a can of beer, and a relaxed attitude. That was it. The session was informal. Natural light. Minimal direction. Farrah brushed her hair by feel. No mirror. No rehearsed poses. McBroom shot 40 photographs. They reviewed them together. Farrah selected 6. From those 6, only one image was chosen for printing. It was the photo in the red one-piece swimsuit. Hair loose. Skin sunlit. Smile open, not posed. Nothing about the image looked manufactured. That was precisely why it worked. The poster sold more than 12 million copies. It became the best-selling poster in history. It appeared in bedrooms, dorm rooms, garages, and lockers across the United States and far beyond. Farrah Fawcett stopped being a working actress and became a global image. Her name was no longer required. The picture was enough. The timing mattered. The image arrived during a cultural shift. It suggested confidence without distance. Sexuality without apology. Independence without explanation. Many women saw freedom in it. Many men saw desire. The industry saw money. What most people did not see was control. Farrah did not own the image. She did not control its licensing. She did not manage the distribution. Merchandise exploded, posters, mugs, t-shirts, calendars. Her face was everywhere. Her share was small. Roughly 2% of the total profit. While the image generated millions, her financial return barely reflected its impact. The poster made companies rich. It made Farrah famous. It did not make her powerful. From that moment on, her body became a product. Decisions about her image were made without her. Her appearance defined her value in the market. Casting followed the poster, not the person behind it. Roles came with expectations she did not set. The public believed the poster represented freedom. In practice, it narrowed her options. The image followed her into every meeting. Every audition. Every negotiation. It spoke louder than her resume. The red swimsuit poster changed American pop culture. It also fixed Farrah Fawcett in place. The gap between how she was seen and what she actually owned had never been wider. In 1976, producer Aaron Spelling noticed Farrah Fawcett during a casual tennis match in Beverly Hills. He did not see a resume. He saw a presence. He later described her as an angel. That moment changed everything. Farrah was cast in Charlie's Angels alongside Kate Jackson and Jacqueline Smith. When the series premiered in 1976, it exploded. Ratings surged. Merchandise followed. The show became a global phenomenon almost overnight. Among the 3 leads, Farrah stood out immediately. Her screen presence drew attention. Her smile became iconic. Her hairstyle spread faster than the show itself. Salons across America received the same request. The Farrah magazines ran features explaining how to recreate it. The image traveled far beyond television. But success did not bring leverage. Farrah's salary was lower than her co-stars. She earned roughly $10,000 per episode, despite being the face most heavily used in promotion. Her image sold posters, lunchboxes, shirts, and mugs. The profits were enormous. Her share was not. Farrah understood the imbalance. She also understood that the image was limiting her future. She did not want to remain a television pin-up. She wanted film roles. She wanted range. She wanted control. Her request was direct. She asked for $75,000 per episode and 10% of merchandising profits. The network, ABC, refused. Negotiations stalled. Tension rose. Farrah began turning down promotional obligations. She declined new contracts. The network responded with force. ABC made it clear that her contract was still binding. When she explored film opportunities, the pressure escalated. ABC warned studios that hiring her could lead to legal consequences. One project collapsed immediately. She was close to securing the lead role in Foul Play, opposite Chevy Chase. After the network intervened, the producers backed out. The role went to Goldie Hawn. The message was clear. Independence would be punished. Opportunity would be restricted. The system did not negotiate. It enforced. With few options left, Farrah returned to the table. The terms were worse than before. She accepted them to survive professionally. Publicly, she was at the height of fame. Privately, her power had never been smaller. Charlie's Angels made Farrah Fawcett a household name. It also showed how quickly the industry closes ranks when a woman demands ownership of her own career. After stepping away from Charlie's Angels, Farrah Fawcett tried to reset her career through film. The first major attempt was Somebody Killed Her Husband. Expectations were high. The project was sold aggressively before release, promoted as the moment Farrah would finally transition from television star to serious film actress. It failed. Box office numbers disappointed. Reviews were harsh. The press did not separate the film's problems from her name. One headline summed up the industry's attitude with brutal efficiency: someone killed her career. The message spread quickly. Farrah was no longer framed as a risk worth taking. She tried again. Sunburn followed soon after. The result was worse. The film collapsed commercially and critically. 2 consecutive failures hardened Hollywood's perception. Executives stopped seeing potential. They saw liability. Her next project, Saturn III, was meant to reverse the narrative. It paired her with a major star, Kirk Douglas, and carried a larger budget. Instead, it became one of the most damaging experiences of her career. Production was chaotic from the start. The director was fired mid-shoot. Douglas assumed control of the set. His authority went largely unchecked. Farrah was pressured into performing a nude scene she had not fully agreed to under the original terms. Resistance was not treated as negotiation. It was treated as obstruction. On set, boundaries blurred. Douglas dictated performances. He physically manipulated scenes in ways that left Farrah visibly uncomfortable. At one point, he smeared dirt on her body to heighten realism. The act was not collaborative. It was imposed. Farrah had little power to object. When Saturn III was released, critics dismantled it. Reviews called the film empty. Her performance was labeled shallow. The failure was framed as confirmation that she could not carry serious roles. She received a Golden Raspberry Awards nomination. Public humiliation replaced private mistreatment. At the same time, her personal life was collapsing. Her marriage to Lee Majors deteriorated under pressure, distance, and resentment. In 1982, they divorced. The separation ended a relationship that had once anchored her early career. Farrah did not fail because she lacked effort. She failed because she entered an industry that protected power, excused abuse, and punished women who could not, or would not, conform. By the early 1980s, Farrah Fawcett had few options left in film. Hollywood had labeled her unreliable. Box office failures followed her name. Instead of fighting the system head-on again, she changed direction. She returned to television, where the expectations were lower and the control was different. The shift began with Murder in Texas. The role was not glamorous. The story was grounded. Farrah played a woman caught inside violence and fear, not fantasy. The performance surprised audiences. Reviews were cautious but respectful. For the first time in years, her work was discussed without jokes about posters or hairstyles. The real turning point came in 1984 with The Burning Bed. The film was based on a true story. Farrah portrayed Francine Hughes, a woman who endured years of domestic abuse before setting fire to her bed while her husband slept in it. The role demanded restraint, exhaustion, and emotional precision. There was nothing decorative about it. Farrah did not soften the character. She did not protect her image. She allowed herself to look tired. She allowed herself to look frightened. The performance relied on silence as much as dialogue. Bruises were not hidden. Fear was not romanticized. The violence felt routine, not theatrical. That realism unsettled viewers. Critics responded immediately. Many called it one of the strongest television dramas of the decade. The conversation changed. Reviewers no longer questioned whether Farrah could act. They analyzed how she acted. Her performance earned her a Primetime Emmy Awards nomination. It was the recognition she had been chasing for nearly a decade. More important than the nomination was the shift in perception. Farrah was no longer dismissed as a decorative presence. She was trusted with difficult material. Producers began offering roles centered on trauma, survival, and resilience. These were not roles written for beauty. They were roles written for endurance. Her past pain became an asset. Years of public scrutiny, professional rejection, and personal instability gave her access to emotional territory she had never been allowed to show before. On television, she found space to use it. This period did not erase what came before. The image of the red swimsuit still followed her. But it no longer defined her ceiling. For the first time, Farrah Fawcett was evaluated on performance alone. When given the right role, with the right material, she proved what Hollywood had underestimated for years. She was not a symbol learning to act. She was an actress who had been waiting to be taken seriously. After rebuilding her career, Farrah Fawcett did not find stability in her personal life. Her most defining relationship was with Ryan O'Neal. It began in 1979 and never followed a straight line. Over nearly 20 years, they separated and reunited repeatedly. Each return promised resolution. None delivered it. In 1985, they had a son, Redmond O'Neal. His birth tied them together permanently, even as the relationship remained unstable. Farrah was working steadily again. Ryan, meanwhile, struggled with grief, anger, and self-destruction. The imbalance deepened. Farrah later discovered that Ryan was having an affair with actress Leslie Stefanson. When confronted, he did not express remorse. Instead, he minimized the betrayal. At one point, he justified it by comparing the woman to a daughter figure. The explanation shocked those close to Farrah. The emotional damage went further. Ryan reportedly told Farrah that her body was no longer attractive as she aged. For a woman whose public identity had been built almost entirely on appearance, the comment cut deeply. The relationship ended, but the psychological impact stayed. At 50, Farrah made a decision that surprised many. She posed for Playboy. The shoot was deliberate. It was not framed as nostalgia. It was a statement. She wanted to show that age did not erase ownership of one's body. Alongside the photos, she created experimental video art, using her body as a tool for expression rather than display. Public reaction was divided. Some praised the confidence. Others mocked the choice. That division followed her to a highly publicized appearance on Late Show with David Letterman. On air, Farrah appeared nervous. Her speech was hesitant. Her movements seemed awkward. The audience laughed. Rumors spread immediately. Tabloids suggested substance abuse. Commentary focused on behavior, not context. What the public did not see was the reality behind the image. Farrah was dealing with serious health issues. She was exhausted. She was vulnerable. The narrative hardened quickly. The media framed her as a fallen icon. A woman who had lost control. The years of discipline, resilience, and reinvention disappeared from the story. By the end of her life, Farrah Fawcett was still widely recognized. She was rarely understood. Her final years were not defined by scandal, but by misinterpretation. She was seen through fragments of footage, not through the full weight of her experience. Her story did not end in failure. It ended in distortion. A woman reduced to an image, once again, just when the truth mattered most.